who have to, especially, I mean, the premise that you set that Abronye attacked my boss. Of course, Ken Agyapong, I still speak for him. And I mean, there's been a series of attacks and whatsoever. But
a new development on Abronye case. Say, Atemwana say, near judge in the Bekan say, Yemfa Abronye and Concoche Abain Kukum. Kopim said, Nasemwa, a dark court in Yebedi Vieno. Assembly were two Jana Manfo Bebrinoa, Ekan Huasem say, Atemwana no Shidodo, and I said, the judge in the Bekan, and what she do. MPP4 kasa ho bebre enkrofo bebre enso ebeka ho asem se enkanisa judge ne yesa new development abane se kwasi kwaten oye spokesperson hedima honourable kenedy on Agyapong osanso kiremra eyemra nimni mapa odi asem no munchirechire mu abade nam soma judge ne ndi kasa de judge ne gina so emra crowd gina so edibusa atan no wodi ne nyina tudwa wa kirechire asem no mu yie pa ehu ba hia so betie bi ntiye nsemra ne yebebo awuram na yatie enkomo no a kwasi kwati edi ye no ni nchirechire mu odi ba ye no na mika wo sa ha kenedy TV subscribe share video no like na wo comment nso ma yehu e wo comment section na ntiye nsemra ne yonko tie kwasi kwati nchirechire mu a odi ba ye efa Abronye case no a ya remanded no kopim say yebedi na asem awie no yonko tie emra.
I find myself in a completely difficult position.
Yeah, I can see.
One who have to, especially, I mean, the premise that you set that Abronye attacked my boss. Of course, Ken Agyapong, I still speak for him. And I mean, there's been a series of attacks and whatsoever. But I mean, coming here, I chose to come on one main basis. That first of all, my fidelity is to the law and the facts. Other than that, there wouldn't be any point to even attempt in the name of party politics or party communication to come and defend what ordinarily you may have reservations on. I mean, I want to give you some example beyond the Abronye case. Recall the Agrada case, Agrada incident. I have not read her charge sheet, but last time I was discussing with my students, I teach students law and ethics, so I'm sure even as I sit here to comment on this, the expectation will also be very high.
You are teaching as well?
Yes, I'm teaching as well. And so they'll be marking me whether the things I tell them in the classroom reflects in my political and daily life. But I want to create some kind of connection or relation with the Agrada issue, for instance. Remember the case before the court then. My students tell me, I've not had the opportunity to read the charge, but my students tell me, usually we discuss some of these matters. They said the case was about two individuals or complainants who said Agrada has defrauded them. I think one to the tune of 500 cedis, another to the tune of 200 cedis. But yet the judge initially awarded or convicted Agrada for about 15 years. In such situation, one can clearly see that the charge has gone beyond the facts before him or her in the court, and now imported the character of Agrada inside the court, so far as the matter is being heard. And so when that happens, your fidelity may not necessarily be to the law. And it's understandable. The judges are human beings. They watch TV, they watch social media, they listen to the commentaries around, they hear this, they hear that. And so there is a temptation for you to import certain matters that is not before you, and then mischaracterize the person and base your judgment on that. So there is that tendency. And I see the same thing being played out in the Abronye incident. I have the ruling here by court, and if I am permitted to, yes, just a portion. Is that the court is of the view that when granted bail, the accused will commit further offenses. Please, the key word here that I want us to learn here is will. The court is of the view that when granted bail, the accused will commit further offenses. This court specifically relies on section 96(5)(c) and D of Act 30 of 1960. Now let's refer to the Act and then look at whether indeed that was the position of the law. If you look at the Act 30, section 96(5)(c), it talks about section 96(5)(c) provides that the court shall refuse to grant a bail if it is satisfied that the defendant may not appear to stand trial, may interfere with the witness or the defendants in any way hamper police investigation. The C, where the charge benchmark the decision on, may commit a further offence when on bail. Now, this one uses may. So when you are convinced that the accused person may commit an offence, when giving bail, you have the discretion not to grant the bail. But in this circumstance, the judge does not even say may. The judge says the court is of the view that when granted bail, the accused person will commit further offences. In this instance, the judge has even moved from the requirement of the provision in under section 96 5C, which even uses may. May is speculative. As soon as you use will, then it presupposes that you are very conclusive and you are damn sure that the guy will commit an offense.
But is there not precedence? Exactly. Is there not precedence to this? Because we know also that he was standing trial in a similar case.
If I am allowed to learn, I knew all these questions were coming. You see, it is based on the precedence, right?
Yes.
I'm coming. No two ways about it. It is based on the precedence. That is why the section, the Act 1990, Act 30, Section 96 5C, provides that the accused may means that there is a possibility that the person could do it. But as soon as you say well, then you are definitely sure that the person is going to do it. And well means that you have to provide basis upon which that determination or that the wording will is used. And the judge is not in the position to do that. Probably, even at worst, has to be the prosecutor. The prosecutor may even have to say that, well, we believe that he will do that.
But that was the prosecutor's argument in court.
No two ways about that. But it's not the prosecutor's argument, that is the judgment. The judgment of the court, the judges use will. And I'm saying that the use of the will is completely prejudicial. Now, I'm going to look at the merit of the ruling before I come to a final issue. I'm not going to run away from it. And I'm saying that from the ruling here, if you use will, you have to provide basis, enough evidence to support that claim that indeed you are damn sure that he will do that. Even the provision of the act uses me. So on what basis will the judge go beyond me and say that well? As soon as you say well, then you have to provide evidence to support that. And you are not the prosecutor, you are a judge. So on what basis, where are you going to get the evidence? That is why other school of thought believe that the use of will put the judge in a prejudicial state. Believe me, if the judge had used may, which is the requirement and the standard set out under Section 96 5C of Act 30, I wouldn't probably have even come for the show.
Let's move to the next thing.
So the judge was prejudicial, and as soon as you become prejudicial, you see the honourable is laughing.
So if I get your point, well,
no,
you feel like
was wrong.
No, so you feel like he's imported other things out of the case based on the accused person's personality and previous conduct.
Exactly.
And has based that to judge on the matter.
That is the basis, that is the only reasonable conclusion upon which anybody will say that, well, it makes sense for the judge should have used well. Other than that, on what basis will you say that? So, you see, in even reading 96 5C of Act 30, you also have to make recourse to the provisions of the Constitution and Article 19. Article 19 is very succinct, expressly clear that every accused person will be presumed innocent until proven guilty. It is on the basis why Martin Kwebu won his case when it comes to this bail stuff. So at every point, you look at the same provision under Article Section 96. It talks about the fact that bail, at no point should you use bail as a basis of punishment.
But does it matter that on the 13th of April, he was granted police inquiry bail after being found to have allegedly committed the same offense? So there is some history to this.
No two ways about that.
It's not coming out of the blue.
No two ways. I'm saying that it is not in the place of the judge to make that pronouncement that he will. At best, the judge could have said he may. This is what we are talking about. It is not in the place of the judge to state that the guy will do that. If you do that, then you have to support by evidence. But you are not the prosecutor, so why are you going to provide the evidence? You are the arbiter. And mind you, as soon as the guy comes before you, the accused comes before you, he is presumed innocent until proven guilty. But here is a judge who then, goes about probably looking into the history. I'm sure he's social media friendly, so he has been looking at the things Abronye has been saying, whether against the clergy, whether
based on that
to import Abronye's personality into the facts presented before him.
What is your position? What's your position on Agyapong Markin's comments to the judge?
Leave the may and will go to the
Honourable, don't worry.
That's why you guys speak.
No, I can speak. Why? I give you my time.
What's your position? I mean, the Ghana Bar Association, they've come out to say it
You
was
asked me my
unethical.
position.
No, I want to give a proper context to it. You're a law lecturer, like
yes, I teach law and ethics.
Yeah. So, what do you agree with anything that the member of parliament for the future said?
Let me not necessarily narrow it down to Mr. Markin. Let me even broaden the scope. That if any commentary that cross.
I'm
not running away.
We talk about Agyapong.
Oh,
That's why we are here.
He's interrupting me. Honourable is interrupting me. Honourable MP is interrupting me. He's spoiling my flow. Please caution him.
But let's limit it to Apenyo.
Yeah, no, it doesn't matter. I mean, it's a political platform. Yes, Apenyo inclusive. I'm saying that if any comment, you see, first of all, judges are not beyond criticisms, and we must not misconstrue criticisms or judicial accountability to mean an attack on the judiciary. But at the same time, we must also be measured. I teach law and ethics. And of course, at every point, I tell my students that even in criticizing the judgment of the court, you have to do it in the matter of dignity and decorum and respect to the court. So any comment by whosoever individual, whether it's Afenyo Markin, for instance, some of the comments that was made, whether it was President Mahama, I mean, comments have been made in the past that we are coming to clean the judiciary. I mean, and if you have that history, I'm coming. Oh, Honourable, stop this my fool. Remember, Dr. Kwambeje, you said there are many ways of killing a cat. Comments like what the current majority leader said, that he doesn't think there is any knowledgeable person at the Supreme Court. These are all comments, even including the one recently said by Afenyo Markin. If you take all these comments and put them before the table, I do not support any comment that personalize an attack or personalize issues on the judiciary. Because as a lawyer and as a citizen of Ghana, first of all, my fidelity is to the law and to the justice system. And I mean, I am always biased towards protecting state institutions. This is my view. They are the state institutions are run by human beings. They are not run by angels. They are not run by robots. So certainly you may get some infallibilities and excesses. No two ways about that. But when those excesses or infallibilities, and even the law itself envisage that, that is how come it gives records that you can go for appeal, you can go even as high as to the Supreme Court to the extent that you can even go for review. So there are processes laid down for that. As soon as that process is coming, then it presupposes that even the law envisages that there could be that human infallibilities and errors in the judicial system, just like I pointed out from the judgment. But your reaction to such thing in an attempt to demand accountability must not necessarily be an attack.
So do you support the parliamentary probe into the comments and conduct of the minority leader?
No, I do not. You see,
but how can you on one breath say that it is concerning for the judiciary and to an extent delegitimizes the court and not support an inquiry into ensuring that some of these things
remember what the premise I gave was a general premise. So I was not necessarily particular about
of which Apenyo was part of.
Yeah, it was a general
premise. So it means that it applies to his case as well.
Obviously, I mean the case of majority leader.
So then how come you don't support a probe to address this?
This is what I believe. You see, we should not reduce Parliament. We should be very mindful of that. That balance has to be there. When we need to be very careful of that, so that we reduce Parliament to a chamber that police speeches of criticisms against the judiciary. We must be very mindful of that. Parliament is an institution, it has its own mandate. Of course, I mean, it has its disciplinary chamber, disciplinary committee on oversight and blah, 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 blah. I mean, if the judge today or the judiciary today feels that what Markin said is in contempt of the court, they have that power to summon him before the court and answer to why he should not be held liable for contempt. Such institution is there, which is the judiciary, I mean, created by the law, and the law gives them that prerogative of that powers. I am not interested in the over politicization of some of these matters to the extent that you reduce Parliament to a chamber or an institution that polices people's speech on criticisms against
I'll let you respond to that, but I want to come to Koshi briefly. But in a nutshell, you agree Honourable Apenyo Markin crossed the line? Very briefly, this is a yes or no answer.
Oh, why am I under cross-examination? I'm not especially under cross-examination.
Because your students are watching. And they want to know your position. So it's a simple answer.
No. Why do you ask me a question and give me how to respond?
Your students are watching.
Because you've explained that, like he and many others, it's not the best. Because if I get you correctly, it delegitimizes the court.
That's our answer. I don't think you are being fair to Ken today. He's not even mentioning anything.
I want to say.
I don't think it's fair to him. Well, judicial independence and public accountability are not enemies. The two can go together. But at the same time, we must also ensure that even if you look at the Act 32, that is the Legal Professions Act, and the LI 2423. I mean, it requires lawyers to demonstrate the highest form.
So Abronye was wrong. He wasn't wrong.
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm never saying he was wrong. I am saying that at the end of the day, judicial independence and public accountability are not enemies. But in demanding accountability from the judiciary system, especially from such patent error of law, which people may perceive that is political. I mean,
some people say he's trying to overcompensate for supporting your candidate and trying to catch the eye of Baum.
Yes.
Have you heard those comments?
You see, let me answer it. I mean, such things.
Did he support your campaign?
I'm coming.
Was he part of the Kennedy campaign?
Openly, I wouldn't say so.
But how about behind closed doors?
No. You see, me, I'm a very I like to engage issues, right?
Yeah.
I like to engage issues. You see, from the figures that we had from his constituency, it appears
he supported your campaign.
Yeah, it appears so. But openly, he demonstrated his posture as a neutral person, and of course became a leader of the party as he's supposed to be.
And in closed doors.
And he spoke about it. He spoke about it.
You see, it is not in dispute that he has a relationship with Ken.
Yeah.
And Ken is a party member.
So did he support? He can have a relationship with Ken and not support the campaign.
Except for what Ken did for him personally.
Oh, if the records are there, then why are you asking me? The records are
there. Thank you very much. But you wouldn't answer whether he was wrong. And that is on record. You didn't answer whether he was wrong or right.
I am telling you
you didn't answer.
What he did was demanding judicial accountability, which is within his right as a citizen.
Did he do it in the right way or in the wrong way?
The court has the power to determine.
Thank you. Thank you. I'll come back to you. Let me just get your